So here we go, Monday motivation. Well, God, you need some motivation today, don't you? And I'm not going to tease you this week, Colin, thanks for that, mate. I said I'd introduce a number of winning routines which have served me and served a lot of people I've worked with over the years. And winning routine number one is one that's resonated with so many people. It's choose your mood. And what a day to choose your mood. I had a choice. I could have stayed in bed. It was very tempting. It was warm. It was dry. It's hammering down here. It's beautiful. It's by the river. And I got out, did just under 5k. Having done the park run on Saturday in an average of 8.5 minutes, I was quite chuffed with myself, 8.5 minute miles. I was quite chuffed with myself, a bit slower, a lot slower today, having done 18 holes yesterday as well. So all good, we have choices. So let's get to winning routine. Number one, choose your mood. Now, there are 5 choices here. There are many, many choices, of course there are, but 5 that you might remember. You can be a prisoner. So you're forced to go to a meeting, you're forced to go to this presentation, and you just decide not to engage. I'm a prisoner, I'm a victim sort of thing. So that's a choice. You could be a passenger. I'm going to go, but I'm not going to contribute. I'm just going to let it all float by me. Easy life. So you can be a passenger. You can be a pirate. Now, I have to say, the pirates are the really interesting ones because they deliberately choose to undermine and damage. They have that sort of the drain reputation, the ones who sucks the energy out of a room. And there are many like that. And it's a choice. And I have to tell you a little story. This guy, and I'll cut it short, but I was doing this workshop for a couple of days with this team. There was quite a lot of negativity around this team. And when we started doing some session right at the beginning, this guy was undermining other people, cutting in, breaking over people. And I said, we'll take a little break. Can we have a little chat? So I have a chat with him outside. I didn't sort of do anything damaging to him, honestly, I promise. But I asked him, I said, come on, tell me, what's going on? He said, I'm pissed off. I said, I can see that. I said, what is it? What's the issue? He said, look, I've been working in this organisation for 15 years. I've worked really hard. I've done my damnedest to do well. I went for promotion and the bastards didn't give it to me. I said, well, listen, that's really tough. And I feel for you. That's a difficult thing to face up to, but let me ask you this question. I said to him, are you trying to prove them right or prove them wrong? He said, you bastard, because he got it. He was making a choice, and every very behaviour he was displaying, he was proving them right not to have promoted him. And he came back into that room, and not only did he change his attitude, but he then became a leader himself and a leader of others in that room because of the way he chose to behave. Choosing your mood. Don't be a pirate if you can possibly afford it, unless you're of course in a fancy dress and going to a party. The last 2, okay, is to be a performer. Now, we can all choose to be that. I was a little shit at school, and many of my schoolmates will remember this, locking the teacher out, hiding his books, having a right old giggle. But of course you don't get as much value out of a session. It was funny in places, but disruptive to others and disruptive to my own education. But when I was at my very best, and this is the final choice, and this is a choice I'd love us all to make as often as we can, which is to be a player. Now, that's not the player who's going town, gambling, going out with women or drinking, all that sort of stuff, which of course was a choice of mine way back then, on many occasions, not gambling. But, we have those choices. You could be a team player. Just think about the behaviours of a team player. What do they do? What do they choose to do when they choose that mood, when we choose that mood? To contribute, to help, to support others, to be supportive of the collective goal rather than the individual goal. Being a team player. Choose your mood. I hope you enjoy it. Have a play with it. These are all lightly held. Have a play with it, because just think about the day where you've had a shitty day at work or an argument with someone, and you come home and that anger and that frustration is still with you, and you open the door and you go in and that rain cloud is still with you. What sort of evening do you have? And it's pretty damaging, because you resonate the negativity of that. In that moment of opening the door, when you're going back into your loved ones, your family, your friends, the people you have the privilege to lead, that's the moment you choose your mood and say, actually, what they need from me right now is to me to show up properly, positive, secure. Now, shit happens. We all know that. And there are difficult times in our lives. We've had them, I've had them, we've all had them. But how do we handle those? And then how do we look after the people who we deserve to lead and be the best of ourselves with? That's about choosing your mood. Have a great week. Enjoy it and play back some of the experiences you've had in doing this. Cheers.